About that with Coach Donahue saying, we like to get layups and threes, and those are two of the toughest shots to defend. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Penn highly involved in the analytics of basketball under Steve Donahue. As a look at the Paycom starting lineups, and the 5 for UCF and Johnny Dawkins is going inside Collin Smith with the game's first points.
And Collin Smith's going to be a load down low, particularly for A.J. Broder, who you're going to expect a lot from on the offensive end. So you've got to help out. You've got to dig down, at least get the ball outside of the paint.
Here is Broder going at Smith across the key, and there's that craftiness you talked about.
Footwork. We saw it. If you're a Pennsylvania basketball fan, or a Philadelphia basketball fan, Colin Gillespie does it as well as anybody else. You don't see a lot of bigs with great footwork. You just don't see it. A.J. Broder's got it.
Now Collin Smith's turn for the Knights. And a foul on the floor. It's a push against A.J. Broder.
He's too important for this game. They're a much better team when he's on the floor. You've got to make sure you protect him in the paint. He's going to have his hands full with Collin Smith.
Darren Green Jr. the miss. Cleared by the Quakers. Here is Broder. Nice pass, Ryan Bentley, though Broder couldn't handle it. Out of bounds, it goes the other way with the Knights.
And you're going to see a lot of that. There's not a lot of ball screen action, but a dribble handoff can be just as good. And when you have a passer like A.J. Broder, they look to play through him like he's a point guard. And notice the switch. A.J. Broder no longer on Collin Smith with that one foul.
And Collin Smith trying to take advantage of that size advantage, missing the jump hook. And here comes Penn. There's some of that handoff action you were talking about. Devin Goodman from deep. And keep in mind, it's going to be confusing because there's 4 3-point lines on our floor. It's the third one of the 4 that is the 3-point line that is effective in college basketball.
New 3-point line, which
yeah.
I like. So much is said about that, whether it's going to change the game. It hasn't really improved spacing any. I think they're strong enough in 5th grade nowadays.
Foul was on Eddie Scott as the jumper off the mark from Dre Fuller Jr., but kept alive by UCF. Dejon Ingram, the grad transfer from Alabama. In fact, yesterday he wanted to know how Bama did. He came over and asked us how they did against Carolina in the battle for Atlantis. Way off Collin Smith. Just over 2 minutes in, tied at 2. Penn out of the Ivy League. Went to the NCAA tournament a couple of seasons ago, and UCF had a historic season last year. Jordan Dingle, the freshman, missing from deep, and the rebound cleared by the Knights. Dre Fuller, too strong on the 3, and hustling is the Southern California native Frank Burtz for UCF.
Well, and those transition opportunities are going to be there, not just on the shot, but the offensive rebound. When the defense is scrambling, it's hard to identify rebounders, hard to block out.
Offensive rebound, Dejon Ingram. Kept alive, and then finally secured by Devin Goodman. Here comes Penn. A burst with Goodman having it poked away. And then a foul called on Jordan Dingle of Penn, his first.
UCF is fouled. It's a foul on Dejon Ingram, and that shows what he wants to do. He wants to attack. He wants to get downhill. He wants to get to the rim. At times, he needs to settle down. He'll get even more fouls against him.
Dre Fuller, the step back. Too strong, and the rebound cleared by Eddie Scott for Penn.
I say both teams doing a good job, at least forcing tough shots, not allowing the easy, quick shot.
Steal by Fuller. Here come the Knights. Dejon Ingram to the bucket. And it's 4-2 UCF as the Knights were only 1 for 11 from the field prior to that transition make from Ingram.
Oh, the issue was they were taking a lot of jump shots. You've got to get out in transition. If you can capitalize on an easy one here and there and help establish a rhythm in this game, that'll give you an edge.
Ryan Bentley, the floater. And the rebound, here comes Dejon Ingram for UCF. They'll slow it up, doesn't have numbers. Frank Burtz in and out on the 3. Jordan Dingle clears for Penn.
And so far, UCF getting better looks, particularly when they attack in transition. And you've got to wonder if the defense is affected by the fact that A.J. Broder is no longer on Collin Smith. It requires a little bit more communication in transition.
Air ball from Devin Goodman. UCF, here's some transition action. Double clutch, the scoop won't go for Dre Fuller Jr. Out of bounds, last touch by the Knights. It belongs to Penn.
Well, they just got beat by an experienced Michigan team. These experienced teams have gone on to win the last 3, 4, 5 Final Fours national championships. So the experience does pay off. As much as we like these young kids who are going to be one-and-done superstars at the next level, the best teams usually win at the end.
Speaking of Taco Fall, how great is that? This is Sports Center commercial with Jared Goff.
It's great. It's great. Taco Fall.
Shot clock rolling down on Penn. Eddie Scott over to Ryan Bentley. Hits a three, and Penn has their first lead.
And that's an early dagger, right? You know, sometimes the early dagger is when a great shooter gets a little rhythm, gets it going, gets a feel for the game on a late shot clock bad shot. It wasn't a good driving kick. He just put one up and got it to go. But that'll give him confidence going forward. He's going to start to seek out a shot.
Penn has made 11 threes in each of their last 2 games. Brandon Mahan from deep.
And it's still not enough. That's the thing. Look, when you shoot the three, what it does is now it's going to lead to hard closeouts. Hard closeouts lead to open driving lanes. The open driving lanes lead to even better three-point shots or dump downs for layups.
Foul on Frank Burtz of UCF, and a whistle off the ball. It's the second on Burtz. And
experience is everything.
Here's a freshman, Jordan Dingle. A.J. Broder moving in. Broder to the bucket.
Oh, they're going to call a flop. I was going to get so excited that they didn't call a flop. I love the play on. Yeah, he's going to sell it. This whole concept of deceiving officials is as part of the game as bad calls are. We got to live with both of them. But
if there's no contact, I get it. Right?
Yeah, if it's ridiculous, but don't stop the game.
But they're calling it as they're instructed to enforce it, and the first one is just a delay of game warning.
Make the gesture, and at a dead ball, give them the warning. At the next dead ball, give them the shots if you want, but don't stop the game. That's my point.
And the next one will result in a Class B technical against UCF as the warning was called.
And it's never officials. They're doing what they're instructed to do. You can never hold them accountable. As Dejan Ingram gets to the basket, that's what he does best.
Grad transfer now with 4. As Ingram had a nice run at Alabama. Last year averaged 7 points a game. Career high 10.5 points a game as a redshirt freshman. And there's another long range shot. This one from A.J. Broder, just his second 3 of the season for the Penn big man.
Broder had about 3 open looks earlier in this game. He just didn't take them. He needs to take that shot.
Foul counted and 1 for Collin Smith.
Threat that they are. It's a great offense to go against because it forces your defense to communicate. Young teams, new teams like this UCF team, considering what they lost, communication is going to be everything in their development.
Here's Devin Goodman, the floater. Well defended by Collin Smith. And a poor pass at the feet of Matt Milan from...
So much about culture, identity, but we forget that chemistry is a good part of that. It's a big part of that. And to develop chemistry, it takes culture, but it also takes time. This is a young UCF team that don't have that chemistry yet.
And the backdoor cut, the layup missed by Max Martz. Dejan Ingram down the lane, and he gets it with the left hand.
It's great separation, just controlling the body, taking a little bit of contact, extending the left hand. It's not an easy finish, and you can see why he gets to the foul line as much as he does, because when he turns, gets downhill, he goes right into the body of his defender.
Dejan Ingram and Collin Smith have combined for all 11 for the Knights. Off on the 3, Jordan Dingle, cleared by UCF. Here's Ingram again, attacking. Loose ball, hustling, and it's a foul called against UCF.
Big Ten Conference right now.
It's just weird to me that Phil Martelli's on his bench.
It's definitely weird. Philly guy. Look, I'm a Philly guy.
I know.
Yes, it's weird. But it's great.
What a great hire.
What a great move.
Here is A.J. Broder.
Nope.
missing a three. The rebound tipped and running it down is Devin Goodman for Penn. And a whistle, and there was a 20.
By the way, I love that. Love that. Let's pick the pace of the game up. We should be playing with a 24-second shot clock anyway. And every high school should be playing with a shot clock. Got any other rules you want me to apply?
You want a 4-point line?
I don't play anymore. What's it matter?
Bryce Washington. Pass picked off. Brandon Mahan for UCF. Nice move to the hoop. And then blocking the shot was A.J. Broder. And a foul on a three. Brandon Mahan called.
Back from these players because right now they're just trying to go out and win a basketball game.
Another turnover by the Knights, then a foul and frustration by Tony Johnson Jr.
About scoring action. It is more about read and react. It's more about creating things that allow you to play confidently, play with a swagger. That's when you're dangerous.
UCF just trying to find a way to put the ball in the bucket. They're just 5 for 25 from the field. And the block from Johnson as the reverse denied. As Devin Goodman had that cut along the baseline, and Tony Johnson was there to block the shot.
You're giving it to Johnson. I'm going to give it to the rim.
I'm in a giving mood tonight.
You are.
Collin Smith comes up empty.
I always look at body language too. You look at the Penn bench. They're up. They're clapping. They're cheering. They're positive. Body language tells you a lot.
Eddie Scott cut off. Shot clock at 10. Ball stripped from Eddie Scott. Here comes UCF. The freshman Tony Johnson Jr. off balance, draws the foul, will get to the line. And UCF needed that.
It's like celebrating the senior for blocking out. You know what I mean? Like, you should do that.
Should be just second nature at this point. 7-point lead for Penn as UCF really struggling to get going offensively. Penn was a little slow early, then got into a rhythm as that stays with the Quakers. And for UCF, John, what do you need to see from John?
And don't think about making shots. And once you develop that continuity and that movement, you create a little bit of rhythm. You understand the tendencies of one guy or another, and that's what allows you to capitalize, to start to build upon something.
A.J. Broder with 9.
And that's what right now. That's what Penn has. They understand one another. They understand what they want to do offensively, and they are difficult to defend.
Broder started all 98 games now in his Penn career and puts the Quakers up 9. Flying through the key, and Dejon Ingram with 8.
I think it was Goodman. It's just a poor closeout. You can't close out and give Ingram that much of a lane to the basket. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to shoot that three. He wants to get to the basket. And Penn, a transition 3 opportunity.
Jordan Dingle with his first points, so a 10-point lead for Penn. Collin Smith lost it going up, out of bounds. It stays with UCF. But
expecting the 3-point line.
Collin Smith inside, the 6'11", 240 junior, using his big frame to get the bucket and end a 13-2 surge by Penn.
Well, he's got to do his offense early. That means get position. You win the position battle. You win the battle down low. He's got Eddie Scott covering him because of the 1 foul for A.J. Broder.
And a turnover by Penn. 8 giveaways now by the Quakers. Here's a shot from distance and a 3 knocked in by Cesar De Jesus. And you
right now, I take it back. Broadcaster pump fake. Ohio State is. They look so good right now. You talk about continuity and understanding. They've got it. DJ Carton at the point. I love them. But they just play solid basketball.
A.J. Broder, a 3. 5 threes now for Penn, and Broder's got 12.
If you can turn the corner, get to the basket, drag that defense down, and have a pick-and-pop guy like an A.J. Broder, not only pick-and-pop guy, but a guy that can make great passes. He's a ball mover. He's a creator. He's also knocking down perimeter jump shots.
Collin Smith can't handle the pass. Broder leads the break. The reverse falls off from Devin Goodman. Had a chance to get the lead back to double figures. The running hook.
Wow.
Tough shot from Collin Smith.
Wow. Right now, Penn bench. I see the traveling sign wasn't called, but that was a tough finish.
It just looked awkward. I didn't think he traveled.
But what I liked, took big steps. But what I liked about it is he attacked the guy with one foul.
Somebody may want to get out at A.J. Broder.
It was the same exact play that we just saw. Turn the quarter, get to the basket, drag the defense towards the basketball, pop out to the top of the key. Top of the key threes when it's coming from the basket. Figuring out how to stop A.J. Broder. And whether you go with a guard covering him, maybe a Dre Fuller, or look at zone. I want to see the adjustment they make on the defensive end out of this timeout.
Collin Smith follows up his own miss. He has 11.
Offensively, there was no question where they were going to go. They got a little high-low action, and again, if he wins the position battle, he's going to win the game.
And that'll be an offensive foul. We're going the other way, an illegal screen.
And as you hand the ball off, you run your hip right into the other defender. The fact that you can't do that anymore basically eliminates me from playing basketball. So
I limited myself a long time ago.
I probably did. I just act like I didn't.
Again, looking for Collin Smith. Out of the double team. Dejon Ingram lines up a three. It rattles out. And the rebound there is Broder underneath for Penn.
I think Ingram's got to be shot ready. If he's shot ready, he catches in rhythm and shoots a higher percentage shot. Taking the rhythm out of the shot makes it a difficult shot.
Collin Smith with 11, Dejon Ingram 8. The rest of the UCF roster has 3 points. Pass down the lane to a cutting Ryan Bentley. And there's Broder creating with the pass.
That's where you lose sight of your man if it's a Ryan Bentley and he gets out on that three-point line. You're going to follow him everywhere he goes.
Collin Smith playing volleyball. And one for Collin Smith. And the rebound cleared by Ryan Bentley for Penn. That'll be an offensive foul, a push-off with the offhand, Devin Goodman. Probably.
Look, he goes backwards 20 feet. Oh, yeah, that's a flop. That's a flop.
Now, he did push him, but
I'm just saying, according to the rule, that's technically a flop. So you can have an offensive charge and a flop at the same call? Just saying.
Off the leg of Brandon Mahan in a play in this game tonight for a flop. And the second one becomes a Class B technical foul.
Good officials don't call the flop anyway. They don't reward the flop. I would just trust. These guys are so seasoned and experienced. Just call the game as you see it. If you mess one up, so be it. Travel.
Turnover by
sped up. They don't make good decisions with the ball in their hands. That means they put the ball on the deck. You get to a spot where you don't have anything. That extra breath that you take can actually give you make a winning play.
Cesar DeJesus. The follow inside from Darren Green Jr. in the first points for the freshman.
And that's where UCF has to win this basketball game, particularly on the offensive glass. If you attack and the defense is scrambling, that's where you have opportunities on the offensive end.
And as poorly as UCF has played offensively here in the first half, they're only down 5.
Yeah.
Look, and they'll get a tie up at
defending it. Teams are getting better running it on the offensive end. So you will see more runs. They're rhythm runs.
Off the deflection. And then the ball stripped from Eddie Scott. UCF looking for some transition points. And a good job by Penn to get back. But now to the bucket. Hanging the reverse from Darren Green. 3-point game. Despite Penn shooting 52% and 6 of 11 from 3 in the first half.
The turnovers are what's hurting them on the offensive end.
Tough shot and falling away. A wild one thrown up by Devin Goodman. Deflection and Green gives it right back to Penn.
Smart. Settle down. Have a good offensive possession if you're Penn.
Knocked out of bounds by Dejon Ingram. It stays with Penn.
It's funny, there was a time where we'd celebrate that finish. We'd go, wow, what a finish. It's like commonplace now that guys make terrific moves.
Reach in on C.
I
couldn't defend.
When you're 5th pick at the Y, you just got to knock down a 3 every now and then and you hold your ground.
Just have somebody respect you on the court as Dejon Ingram cuts it to a 1-point game.
Well, Dejon Ingram has no respect for the Penn defense. He's just turning the corner, putting his head down and finishing at the rim. And Penn scouting, they know he gets to the foul line a lot. They're trying not to foul, but you still have to contest.
8 straight for UCF.
Game of runs, right?
Yep. Eddie Scott crashing into the key, out of bounds, and hunched over as Collin.
That's just bad contact. Look at the right
awkward.
knee. Yeah.
Well, now, shockingly, UCF has a chance to take the lead here at halftime.
It doesn't feel like it, right?
No,
But again, the turnovers for Penn, they have really hurt them. 13 turnovers here in the first half. That matches their season average.
Dejon Ingram looking to create. Attacks. Ingram gets to the bucket, then missed. One last opportunity for Penn. Ryan Bentley from midcourt. 31-30 Penn. Both teams had a slow start up. Crew, Roxy Bernstein with you from Anaheim Arena. Quarterfinal action on this Thanksgiving night in Southern California. 1-point game. Penn led by as many as 10 in the first half, and UCF going right back to Collin Smith inside, missing, and the rebound Eddie Scott for Penn. And a turnover, and the theme continues, unfortunately, for Steve Donahue and the Quakers.
Well, I think they corrected something on this end in terms of that rebounding, right? You give up 13 offensive rebounds. That's something you're going to talk about if you're Steve Donahue. But then the turnovers, 13 turnovers. Those are hard to correct because sometimes it's as simple as passing and catching. That wasn't a bad play. He just didn't catch the ball.
The floater rims out from Dejon Ingram. Then a foul going for a familiar spot for UCF as they're used to trailing in games. They've trailed with 10 minutes to go in each of their first 4 games, and they're 3-1.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds funny the way you say it. Hey, this is a good spot.
Hey, they got
for them.
Penn right where they want them.
Yes. I think they would take up 10 if Johnny Dawkins had a say in it. Not a
wild shot from Jordan Dingle, and it's cleared by UCF. Darren Green, he can't cash in. Ryan Bentley the rebound for Penn. There's a corner 3, an air ball from Jordan Dingle. 6 threes in the first half of the Quakers. Transition bucket, and Dre Fuller Jr. gives UCF the lead. And that's 10 straight for UCF going back to the first half.
And that's where Jordan Dingle has to know. Look, you know when you're missing one badly, whether it got partially blocked or what. You've got to get back. You've got to get back. You can't give up an easy layup in transition, and that leads to another turnover. Actually, no, they didn't even turn that over, but it should have been.
It's
unbelievable.
It's offensive rebounds, and it's Penn giveaways. That's the difference.
There's another. Look, interior passing, post passing, and even though that's a big to a guard, it's still interior passing. It's one of the hardest things to do. There's not a lot of room, so you do have to be pretty calculated with how you pass, within tight spaces, and they've had a tough time doing it.
Ten to shoot. Darren Green rims out a 3. The offensive rebound. Dre Fuller swatted by A.J. Broder. (32-31) UCF. They had a brief lead in the first half, and now Penn reclaims the lead. And it's Ryan Bentley.
Yeah, great read by Ryan Bentley. Look, he's coming off the screen. Defender jumps it. He just bounces it back, fades off of it. Open look, and you've got to get him going. It's not just for the points. It's for the way he changes the defense.
Collin Smith draws a foul, and A.J. Broder looking to
played the forward spot, Taco Fall being the center. He's in a much different role where he's asked to carry the load quite a bit.
Collin Smith, the GW transfer.
Another.
16.
Look, it's like an epidemic, right? You start doing it, and the worst thing you can do is just say, make the safe pass. You don't want your team to play that way.
Can't blame it all on the tryptophan.
No, I don't think the tryptophan's the issue anymore.
Tied at 34. Dre Fuller. Pummeled, recovering underneath, and a foul will get Dejon Ingram to the line for the Knights.
Sit down, jump shot, jump stop, whatever you want to call it.
Smith and Ingram have combined for 27 of UCF's 36.
And the thing is, the scouting report told you the same thing.
Ryan Bentley off on the three, and Dejon Ingram brings it up for the Knights. Weaving his way in the lane. Tough shot. The tip from Smith, no. And A.J. Broder clears.
And I like that attack because it brought A.J. Broder to the basketball, which opened up offensive rebounding opportunities for Collin Smith.
Here is Broder. There's the up and under. There's a little Gasol move what you're talking about at the top.
I'm telling you, it's not just Marc Gasol because of that little footwork. Ultra slow, no offense.
A.J. Broder leaving his mark clearly at Penn. Coming into tonight, there are his ranks as far as on the all-time list. The two-time first-team All-Ivy League performer. And he has 17 in this one. And the ball knocked away, and a steal for Penn.
Roxy, 13-2 in terms of points off turnovers.
Broder.
28-12.
Off on the three.
You start to look at these numbers, 28-12 in terms of points in the paint, 11-0 second chance points, all in favor of UCF. How is this a tie basketball game?
Tough shot in the lane, and Cesar DeJesus.
All pressure on A.J. Broder on the offensive end, and that has led to a lot of turnovers. And it's not just turnovers on A.J. Broder. It's not throwing the basketball away. It's also speeding up movements, forcing cuts as opposed to allowing the Penn offensive players to make calculated cuts on their own.
Ryan Bentley rattles in a three, and Penn goes back on top.
I'll give the hockey assist to A.J. Broder for setting a good screen. You set a good screen, you get a man open, and if you're getting Ryan Bentley open, count it, cash it, three.
Third three for Ryan Bentley. 8 threes tonight for Penn. While UCF just 1 for 7 from three. UCF shooting 30% from the floor. Here's Fuller. Up and under. Travel on Dre Fuller. And a turnover committed by the Knights.
Carabiner, the thing you hook on your hip. Sure. You're
whatever you say.
You're a big mountain climber.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to stay on the hip. You have to trail run them off threes. You can't get hung up on a screen.
The next time I go mountain climbing, it'll be the first. Devin Goodman for Penn. And a 4-point lead for the Quakers.
You can see you hanging off El Capitan or whatever the heck it is. I saw it in a Hallmark movie.
Collin Smith. A three from Collin Smith. How about the rainbow from the 6'11" big man?
I didn't think that was going in. Not a chance.
Here's Broder going inside. Posting up Collin Smith. From the backside, poked away by DeJesus. He's off to the races. And UCF goes on top to steal in the bucket, Cesar DeJesus.
UCF defense has just been more active, and I think they're gaining confidence with all the turnovers they've been able to create.
And a foul, and there's a cylinder violation there but it's been raining all day.
It's been raining, yeah, thanks. Didn't think that happened in Southern California.
And it's not just like mist, it's been rain.
No,
rain.
It's been heavy and cold rain. I mean, look, we don't have the tan that Billis and Walton have. Goodness gracious.
Who?
Those guys are
over there?
Yep.
Second foul on Collin Smith, by the way. And the drive and a quick dart to the bucket by Devin Goodman.
And that's where Devin Goodman could be effective, is that quick drive as the defense trying to get set. Out of bounds underneath, defense kind of scrambles out and opens up a driving lane.
Left behind, and a steal. Max Martz takes it away for Penn. Martz, long three. He was outside the fourth three-point line. Transition bucket spins out from Frank Burtz.
A little better flow to the game right now. We've gone like 2 possessions without a turnover, so that helps. Gosh, sarcasm at an all-time high here. That must be the tryptophan, isn't it?
And again, all those three-point lines, it's the third one we are playing with. It's the brighter white one, if that helps you.
It's the fresh piece of tape on the floor. That's what it is.
It's the newest addition to the Anaheim Arena court. Dejon Ingram will head to the line for UCF.
Dejon Ingram may have gotten away with the stats. You got the fresh stats. Where are we at in terms of shots taken between each team? This is an astounding number.
53 by UCF, 34 by Penn.
Unbelievable.
Oh, the turnovers,
offensive rebound. It's unbelievable.
Stays with Penn.
It's a staggering number.
Turnovers by Penn, and there it is. 53 shots for UCF, 34 for Penn. And keep in mind, also, UCF has shot 11 free throws to Penn's 4.
Which means you got to capitalize. You're also not going to get a lot of offensive rebounds, so you got to shoot a higher percentage.
3 rattles out from Jarrett Simmons. Out of bounds. Goes to UCF.
Everything. It's not just scoring. It's also, you look at those rebounds. 20 rebounds between 2 guys. That's a lot of activity.
Now keep in mind, UCF has trailed in each of their first 4 games with 10 minutes to go. They're up 1 right now. And they're 3-1 coming into this matchup as the rebound secured by Ryan Betley for Penn.
I mean, going back, though, I absolutely loved when you said, oh, they're down. They've got them right where they want them. I think the turnovers certainly help. The offensive rebound helps. Taking 20 extra shots certainly helps, too.
Season 9 steals for UCF tonight. The floater in the key rattles out from Jordan Dingle. The offensive rebound, just the second offensive rebound for Penn tonight. And then Dingle rattles out the 3. Can he do it again? That's from the NBA three-point line. That was line number 4.
Yeah, that didn't have a chance.
Well, if he shot it from the 3rd one, it might have gone in. That was also an NBA 3 from Ryan Betley. You think that line's confusing to the players?
No.
You think they know which one is which?
Yes, they know. Look, they have enough feel. You play the game as much as these guys do. They have feel for where the three-point line is.
But it's a new line this year.
No, whatever. They adjust quickly. I mean, we make sense as well. It's not changing the game that much. What's changing the game is the way the game's being played. That's what changed.
Penn here in the second half. So Broder's got 3 now.
Last time Broder had fouls, they went to Eddie Scott defending in the post, and I thought that was the best move because you need A.J. Broder on the offensive end.
5 on the timer. Frank Burtz for the baseline, rattles and goes, and Burtz puts UCF up 3.
It's not an easy shot. The face up, keep the ball above your head. That's not an easy jump shot to make.
His first points of the night. And a foul up top on the drive. It's committed by Darren.
What do you think? I don't. I think they'd rather be up 10 every single game, but you do have to give a team credit, and a lot of that comes down to the
Johnny Dawkins
players.
wants to have more than the other team at the end of the night. Offensive foul on Ryan Betley is 3rd.
Yeah, that's a charge.
A good call. That's a good call by Chris Ratzak.
This whole thing that you have to have your feet planted. That's not the case. You have to have position. Collin Smith had position, and he got the call.
All 3 wins by UCF this season have come by 4 points or less. Their wins have come against Prairie View A&M, at Illinois State, against the College of Charleston last Saturday. In a wild one, 72-71, they beat the College of Charleston. In the lane,
nice.
Pretty play from Lucas Monroe, his first points of the night.
That's really nice, but if you watch A.J. Broder, his man's not leaving him. So when he went back to that left side, A.J. Broder was 5 feet away, but still had room because his defender's not leaving him.
On the drive, knocked away from Cesar De Jesus. 3-on-2, leading the break to the bucket. The block from Dejon Ingram, but kept alive by Penn. A hustle by Ingram denies Penn, but a second opportunity for the Quakers. And that'll be a block. And crashing to the floor, Collin Smith will be on display.
Yeah, that will be fun to watch. I mean, they play with great energy. They seem to like one another, and that's so important. Young team with chemistry is dangerous.
Collin Smith out of the double team. Reposting. Again to Smith. A.J. Broder in the post. There's 3 to shoot for the Knights.
And you've got to keep it better than you. I can't comment on that. No.
And Joe Burrow's right there in the conversation. How's that? It's a foul with 1 on the shot clock.
It's a possession if you have the opportunity to get him out. Otherwise, you're playing with fire. Collin Smith's back in the game, so you better switch somebody on to Collin Smith.
And now a zone for the Knights.
I expected to see a little of this in the first half, particularly out of a timeout, make an adjustment. But going to it now, and they give up an easy basket.
Jordan Dingle on the baseline.
Like, a good zone is a good zone, right? A good zone is hard to go against. A bad zone is easy.
If you're UCF, are you going right at Broder?
I would, especially if you got Ingram, just drive it.
Here is Smith. And the weak side tip in from Dre Fuller for the Knights.
And that's what happens. You make adjustments defensively, you switch guys up, and what happens is the backside guys start to watch. They don't stay engaged. They don't stay locked in. They don't block out their man. They watch the basketball game, and next thing you know, a tip back is an offensive rebound and 2 points.
Here is Broder. Up and under, draws the foul. That's 4 on Collin Smith.
All right. He's been the guy you've been playing through. I think with A.J. Broder off the floor, you take Collin Smith out and you start to attack the basket. You rely on offensive rebound. You rely on your ability to get to the rim, especially if you're Ingram. Or chuck a 3.
And the rebound, Lucas Monroe for Penn.
You'll rarely ever hear me say that was a bad shot, but I will say.
Did you ever meet a shot you didn't like?
I didn't, but.
Racing up the floor, Dre Fuller for UCF. And Fuller lays it in, 3-point game. Fuller was 6.
It's amazing how many of those turnovers have led to not just a basket, but an easy basket.
Runouts.
Just easy runouts, nobody getting back. And part of that is with the action, right? The offensive action, the movement, the back cuts, the baseline cuts. You're not in a position to get back if you turn it over quickly.
So Collin Smith's out there with 4. It's a little, I know, unconventional for Penn to just attack and go at somebody the way they run offense, but going to the bucket and Devin Goodman with the hoop. But if you're Steve Donahue, do you try to run something that could put Collin Smith in a high-risk situation?
Here's the way I look at it. The defense that fouls is a defense that's a step behind the play, so you got to get the defense chasing the basketball.
Too strong on the 3, and there is Frank Burtz on the offensive rebound for UCF as Brandon Mahan had the miss.
Run offensive action that gets you in the paint. A paint touch will lead to a poor closeout, which leads to chasing the basketball. That's when you pick up fouls, when you're a step behind the play.
Here is Smith in the post, working on Jared Simmons, and a foul, and Simmons called for his 4th.
Wooden, the greatest coach to ever coach the game. He coached guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor at the time, Bill Walton, some of the best players we've ever known, yet they still worked on fundamentals. They actually worked on putting their socks on right. Look, the fundamentals still matter because you're building good habits.
Devin Goodman, 3! 17 for Goodman. (61-55) Penn, and Dejon Ingram with an answer for UCF.
And that's big. I don't know if they didn't see it, but you got A.J. Broder back in the game. I still would attack him. Get him off the floor. That gives your team confidence. If you get A.J. Broder off the floor, UCF's going to have more confidence to close this game out.
Season high 17 for Ingram. And another 3, this one from Ryan Bentley. Third consecutive game Penn has made 11 threes.
He makes a nice read to get open, but A.J. Broder read it the entire time.
The lean in. And the wild shot, switching hands in midair with Brandon Mahan. Getting ready, Arizona and Pepperdine, our nightcap. And the fantastic freshman, Zeke Naji, Nico Mannion. Green to be on display as that one spinned out. Jared Simmons the rebound for Penn.
And this is where Penn just has to be patient. You still be aggressive. You can't take your foot off the gas. This whole concept of play not to lose never works. Aggressor always wins.
And a reach in on Dejon Ingram, but first, no, a timeout called by Penn.
Oh, familiarity there for sure.
He was an assistant coach for Sean Miller a couple of years ago when DeAndre Ayton was a Wildcat. Now in his second year, in his second stint as the head coach at Pepperdine, and a travel before Jordan Dingle is able to.
That wasn't a travel. That wasn't. That was not the Harden step back. That one wasn't a travel. It was just so good. It had to be a travel.
And a foul upending Dre Fuller, who will head to the line.
Year-olds practicing Euro steps. When you're 10, all you have to do is be able to dribble with both hands. You don't need a Euro step yet.
And a foul committed by Darren Green of UCF. 3 for 3 at the line tonight.
This is where UCF just has to attack. Attack early.
Ingram does it and went right at Broder, who backed off. In the lane, off the loose ball, it drops in for Darren Green.
Still a basketball game. This is an important possession for Penn. It's not even just important that you score. It's important that you take time and you actually work this defense a bit. If you get a good look, you still have confidence in the game.
Broder inside across the key.
That helps too.
23 for A.J. Broder. Transition 3 goes for Darren Green. Timeout. A minute 15 to go.
Look completely different than they did last year, which means they're not as competitive, they're not as polished, and that's going to be what causes problems down the road.
And also the bigs don't have to worry about a 7'6" guy blocking their shot.
Taco was on early load management, though. I don't know if he was practicing 2 hours a day.
10 to shoot. Jordan Dingle for Broder, broken up, knocked away, diving for it. Dejon Ingram. And a timeout.
Just not allowing the Penn offense to space you out too much, where the UCF defense has stayed at home and took the spacing away from Penn.
Collin Smith. Here's Dre Fuller. And he's fouled in the pull-up by Eddie Scott, and Fuller to the line to shoot. And the rebound, Jordan Dingle. 3-second differential. Do you foul, or how quickly would you foul?
Foul right away.
And they get Frank Burtz for the foul.
This UCF team to pick up the ball and attack. You got to slow the basketball down.
You need a 3?
No, you got to attack.
Here's Dejon Ingram. He looks to attack. Leaner. Batted around. Loose ball. UCF gets a second chance. Off balance 3 from Darren Green. Another offensive rebound. Dre Fuller missing from deep. And a jump ball. It belongs to Penn with 3.4.